like to welcome you all to Our Faith Baptist Church every Sunday at 11 o'clock, where we worship and we thank God for everything He's done. So we hope to see you Sunday at 11 o'clock here at Our Faith Baptist Church. God bless you.
And that's where we are as a race of people. We settle for what the other people give us. And we said everything is all right. But why he can't settle? Because it came from man. This man set that up. He don't want you to settle by man's rule. Abraham, I don't want you to settle now for what nobody else does. I'll tell you for what I said. See, Abraham, when God sent him out, he left him, told him to get you away from your kindred and everything. He took his nephew with him. He told him to leave everybody. Well, pretty soon, nephew caused problems. See, some problems came up, so he had to separate him. Separate him because he blessed him so much he couldn't keep blessing him with his nephew there. So they got in trouble with each other, the workmen, and they divided. But if God, see, understand, and I'm trying to say this so we'll understand how important the Word of God is. We can't live this life without reading this book. You can't live for God without reading this book. You can't live for God when people set up. You got to know what God said. And you say, well, it's difficult to understand this, but if you read this, God will show you how to hear him. He'll let you know how to hear him if you read his book. People, if you watch, listen to them again. See, if you watch these TV programs and all these things they got, they'll tell you that this word has been changed and all of this and different things, different Bibles is the best Bible and all that. Well, I can't say all of that. I'm not saying it hasn't been changed because we know that anything that man leads, he'll change what he can. And that's why I tell people, stay with the King James, so you don't want to keep living and change. At least it'll stop here. See, and let God be free. I'm not saying man don't change some of it, but if you live like this word say, you will be able to have contact with God. I said, you'll be able to have contact with him. He'll talk to you. It might not be total, but yet if you do what it said, you won't go wrong. Because he'll keep bringing you back. Keep bringing you back. If you run off over, he'll bring you back. Because you read the word and what you believe, you thought it was true, and I got it a little bit mixed up, so I'm going to go back to God and let him put me where I should be. That's what God wants this word to be. And in the first verse, he said, Abram said unto him, Lord, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is Eliezer of Damascus. And Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thy heir. See, and this was a kind of a difficult time with Abram. He's 100 years old now, getting ready to be there. And you go tell me that, I ain't got no children. The only somebody got a child is the man that's in my household working for me. So he's going to be my heir? See? That's what we do. Well, see, I got, I don't see where God is, but, he's got me. He's given me this, so I'll take it. I think God gave it to me. Doesn't necessarily mean God gave it to you because you got it. You have to find out whether it was God. So God told him, no, that man's children ain't going to be your heir. I'm going to give you a child. You're going to be father of him, see. Your wife is going to have the baby. And don't settle for nothing else other than that. See, but we settle. See, you think about it. We settle for less than what God has for us, and that's why we never can be blessed. Because we think about how many things do we take and think that's all we're going to get because, well, I'm not happy with it, and that's all. Yeah, see, if you might be happy with it, but if that's what God wants you to have, you think about it. Think about him, God talking to Abraham about Eliezer, his man and servant, one of them. He ain't his child. But then you think about it. Well, if Abraham had accepted him, well, then he wouldn't have had to, his wife wouldn't have to change no diapers. She wouldn't have had to nurse him. She wouldn't have to go all this stuff. Well, I guess I'd better take him, and he's my heir. But see, if that had been God, what God wanted, it'd have been all right, but it wasn't. No, you can't do that. You have to know what I said. See, like me, you think about it. I can listen to old folks talk about old folks now because I'm old now, but back then it was old folks too, and I was young. Man, give him a woman working in a man's house, give him the old stove, or old piano, old pair of pants, or whatever, and we just so happy to get that. Oh, I'm just happy. Well, see, was God happy? Did God promise he used stuff that other people had, or second-hand stuff, or stuff that's cast away? He didn't promise you that. He promised you that he loved everybody, and everybody's equal, and you should not be satisfied until you get something from God. If it came to you used and half tore up and junk, it ain't come from God. I don't care what it is. But we accept it. Oh, look what he gave me. See, he gave me this. See, but then what you're saying, that God didn't say what he said. I can't believe what God said, or whatever it is. Because if God didn't give it to you, it didn't come from him. Think about it. It don't matter what the color of the people's skin is that gave it to you or got it. If it didn't come from God, God didn't give you less than what he has. God don't have no Jews and junk stuff. See, you understand me? God don't have nothing that's wild and junk. How can he give you something that he don't have? See, he don't own that. He don't represent that. But we as a group of people, we've represented it so long. How many of us don't take to settle for junk? And it looks good. We think it is. But that ain't God. He wants us like he told Abraham. Your wife is going to have your baby. That's where your seed's going to come from. And don't take nothing less than that. See, we got to go back a long ways to change that. Because our grandparents and all of them, they were so happy to get that junk them white folks gave them till they just, and they go around and brag about it. Miss So-and-so gave me this, and you out there in the field, you ain't getting none of this. See? And we say we're Christians. Well, what you doing? You going to put something else in front of God? Going to accept something other than a gift from God? You're sinning against God when you take that junk. You put him there before God when you do that. And then we wonder why people don't never move. We think they'll go out there and march down the street and things going to change. I've demonstrated at the courthouse and demonstrated on Martin Luther King Day and all this. Things going to change. It ain't. That ain't going to change nothing. Your heart got to change. You got to learn that you can't accept nothing but what God hopes. I'm not saying that you slow down something. Man might feel a little sorry and slow down what he's doing, but it can't stop unless you let God be involved with it. I'm not against Martin Luther King. I wasn't against that. But that's what God told him, but he ain't telling you that now. He's telling you he wants you, like he always, to step above that and take God straight across. Marching ain't going to change nobody's heart unless you put your foot on it. And if you do that, they got somebody else who maybe shoot you. See? But we think that. And this is what God is telling Eliezer, I want a direct contact with you. I don't want you to listen to nothing else. I'm talking to you. I don't want you to hear what nobody else say. Other people may tell you a whole lot of stuff. But I don't want you to accept that as nothing. Maybe a conversation, but it ain't me involved in it. Think about what we're doing. Walk out of here. Think about it. Walk out of here and accept all that junk. I'm thinking about this morning. I don't know whether just now or not. When I was I must have been about 17, 18, my uncle, I guess he had to come to the house because of the fact that we didn't have no telephone then. And he came and says, I don't want to talk to my dad or my mother. He wanted me to come over and take his spot on his job, because I could drive over there during the day. I was working at night because in the summer between schools. To do his job while he was going to take a vacation. So I said, okay. I'm happy to go work in the drugstore and what I do clean and whatever. Then on the time for the paper to come in, I think it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the evening, the paper came in from Tucson. Okay, the bus station was, I don't know how many blocks away. We drove down to the bus, had to drive down to the bus station. I'm sitting in the station, waiting on the bus, and didn't come, so I got up here on the counter and ordered me something on the ice cream, a shake or something. And you know what they told me? You can't drink this here. See, said now, I don't know whether they let me go ahead and finish that time or not, but they said, now when that bus is here, you can go up there and sit down and drink whatever you want to, because you'll be just like you, a passenger on the bus. But just the normal people in town, we can't let you serve because we don't serve black folk. See? Well, then what do you say? Well, I can't do nothing about that, so I'll do what they said. See? We have done that so long. But then and what do? We settle for it. So we settle for that. See, listen to me now. How many things that you can go over and know, sometimes somebody still think about race because they've done it so long that we just think we have to settle. But we as a people, don't need to settle for nothing but what God has offered you. Most of us say, what can I do about it? You tell Jesus. That's all they ask you to do. I must tell Jesus. You ever hear that old song? I must tell him about my troubles. Because everything else ain't nothing else working. Somebody said, well, we're going to wait now till Martin Luther King birthday come. We're going to march. And so the people, we're not satisfied with what's going on. It ain't going to change that much. You got to tell Jesus about it. How can you talk to Jesus? I got to forget about settling for the things that man has to offer. I got to forget about doing that junk I've done. And ask the Lord to forgive me for that. Well, you said, well, I ain't done as much as the other people. Well, it doesn't matter how much else the people have done. You know, and I know that there's a disconnect between me and God unless I ask for forgiveness. And God will show up. I said, God will show up. I said, God will show up. See, all my life. I said, all my life. God has tried to show up, and I didn't really let him show up like he wanted to show up. He's always been there. Wonder why things happen. But I still didn't let him totally come in. See? But see, he let me stay here a couple more years so I can tell you that the thing is not about black and white. In one respect, man, the devil's trying to make it be, but God is wanting us to obey him so that things will change and be like he wanted to be. Don't you know, ain't nobody else knows you have no more brains than you have? People used to think about blood. They won't tell you blood because their blood is different. Everything about you is just the same as other people. Your blood will work in other people. If it'll work in them, it'll work in you. But the only thing different in us, our color. And the way it works on us is because they can tell us that being black is something wrong. And we believe that. Because as the old kids, when I was a kid, you say if you're white, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, you see, what does that stick around? Black, get back. They go around telling that stuff. See, but the thing is, did God say that? He made us all. What does God say about us? All of us is God's children. And if we respect our color, if we respect who we are, God will let us have respect to every man that walk up and down the street or be in your home or wherever. He'll let you have respect because he'll change their hearts because your heart is changed towards how God is. If you don't believe it, read the word. That's what he used this scripture for. Abraham was blessed because Abraham went on. And pretty soon he had a son of his own. And don't you know that Abraham had one son in his own group that was not was by the other lady, another lady, or the help servant of his wife, and she got jealous of that man more. Then he had one. But don't you know after this, after Abraham's wife died, he had 6 more kids? 6 more sons after that. Abraham had a lot of kids after that. He was an old man then because he was 100 years old when he had this Isaac. You see, God wants us not to settle for anything else but him. Wait on it. Well, you say, well, why do we have to wait so long? Because your heart is so bad. Your heart is so wicked until he has to clear it up before he can bless you. He ain't waiting because he got to get ready. God was ready when he made the world. He was ready when he put us in the garden. But because our heart was not right, he gave us a choice. It has to change before you can receive God's blessing. But see, we go somewhere and we say, well, you know, I got to wait on God. I'm going to wait over here. Well, see, you're waiting here but there ain't nothing working. Why? Because you're waiting for God to change and God's waiting for you to change. See, that's all the change. God ain't going to never change. But you're going to have to change your choice in order to get the blessing from God. And you say, well, what does this mean? Just read his word. Find out what he did, how he took care of Abraham. See, Abraham went up here, and Abraham was blessed. And if we look at the other chapter, after I said put it 15, but I thought about in 14, there was a priest named Melchizedek. That was the beginning of tithes as far as Abraham was concerned. He come and showed Abraham how God reacts according to how his plan works, how the blessings will come through tithes and all of these things. Because Melchizedek, there was no beginning for Melchizedek, and there was no end to Melchizedek, because he was a type of Jesus. And he wanted to represent the things that God wanted to happen. You can say what you want to, but unless you do it like God, they all come. They all come like it is. He showed Abraham now. When Abraham took these 313 men, and went back and captured his son-in-law. Read the book on 14th chapter. And he wouldn't take his nephew, rather. They captured him and took him away. And Abraham took his 318 men and went and took all those things that those people had stolen. Give all them people the stuff back. And then when the man came, he told Abraham, look, he says, all this happened, I'm going to give you, Abraham said, you can't give me nothing. I don't want nothing you got. Because I don't want you to be able to go out and say that you made Abraham rich. See? If I took a gift from you, then people going to be thinking that you're the one that had fixed. But God's the one to take care of you. You don't want nothing to cut the neck people with making them think that they are the ones in charge of their life. Government give grants to schools and churches and all that. They may give it to school, but church ain't got to take no grant from no government. Why? Because there's too much connection. People go around telling the church tell about the church the government gave this church that. If you got something in the church, God gave it to it. He wants you to be just that connected. Turn money down, anything down, because you don't want nothing that comes from man be connected to where that people will think you got to depend on man. Don't you know God made the world and everything in it? Don't you know he ain't never been broke? Don't you know he ain't never had to call no doctor? All we got to do is call on him. He never had to call on nobody for peace. Abraham went and fought all these kings with 318 people. Captured them, all of them, that he wanted. And I don't know how many people he slew or whatever, but he brought all that stuff back. And they offered him something for it. He wouldn't take it. Won't take it. You don't owe me nothing. And what he's telling him now, you don't owe me nothing because what I did was for God supply. God will supply all your needs. You don't have to bow to nobody. You don't have to think, well, I got to do this for him because they done. Wow. Why don't we believe what God said? He said he made the whole world and everything in it. All of it. All of it belongs to him. And why don't we talk to him? He ain't that hard to talk to. God ain't that difficult to talk to. All you have to do is be right. The reason why it's difficult, because we think we got to give up some of that junk we got, some of that junk we do. I may have a few bottles of whiskey in my closet, or some beer in my closet. I may have some mineral water in my closet. I may have some junk I do at home. And if I bring God in, I got to get rid of all that. See? I got to get rid of it. Because that's interfering with me and God. That's the interference. If you can't do that, well, you're going to always be on the perimeter. Not inside. You ain't going to get it all until you give it all up to God. Give all this junk up before God. You got too much stuff that you try to hide and make it look like you're doing what God said. Because the pastor don't know what I'm doing at home. I don't have to show this up. He don't know, but God's the one you're serving. You ain't serving man. God knows what you're doing. Then you go say, look around and say, well, I don't know why God don't love this people. And you know why things are so bad for us? It's because if you don't believe it, you pray to him and he'll show you. We were first. I said, we were first. Black people were first. We were the first ones that received get the blessing from God, because this is where it all started. All these other races and all these other people came after us, and we started turning them down. We let all that color and stuff, white and all that, the color, look better. We think it's better than we are. Our hair, all that. We think their hair, straight hair, is better than us. Blonde is better than the prettiest person in the world, and all this kind of stuff. See? We put it all over God's first man. See? And what are we saying? No to God. And I think that God didn't do us right. You start loving those lips you got, loving that nose you got, loving that hair you got. Because why? Because God made it. Loving how my dad used to kid with us. He said, you got that big old shank on the end of your leg. You can't wear no nice-looking shoe because your foot's too big. You all got big feet. They don't make shoes and boots to fit that because it's too big. He said, well, love your feet. Love it because why? Because God made it. Love what you got because God made it. Love your color. And I'm going to close after this one. You know, when I was a young kid, they used to have that stuff they call black and white. There's ointment. And if they put that stuff on their skin would just peel. Let's put some, what's it called, Vaseline petroleum gel in it and try to mix it to where it wouldn't burn your skin so much. They're trying to get light skinned. See, why? Because we try to be different from what God wants. Just obey God and let him take care of it. You don't have to go to no store to get no black and white. You don't have to go to no store to get it, whatever. Just let God take care of your mind and let you accept what he's made. Because he said there ain't no difference. But we've made the difference because we let what those other people tell us persuade us to think that we're something less than him. That's how he talked to Abraham. See, I'm saying this number. Each told Abraham that I want a connection with you. I want to make a covenant with you. I don't want you to accept nothing else. Where's our covenant with God? Do we really know whether we're accepting something else or what we're accepting come from God? Are we letting God tell us that he loves us like he do anybody else? I know sometimes we get tired of talking about this, about the color. Every time I come to church, you talk, but that's where God keeps me. And I probably don't want to say it no more than you do. I want to hear it. But if God tells me to say it, I got to say it. And we need to hear it. It's got to start somewhere. See, if it don't start here, it's got to start somewhere. See, a smoke, when you make a big fire, it starts kind of like with a little smoke. And then it starts to burn. That's what God wants. His Spirit's got to start somewhere. We got to start liking each other somewhere. And liking ourselves so God can really live and show us what we need to know. You're just as good or however you want it than anybody else. You ain't got to give no seconds to nobody else. I said, you don't. They used to have an old saying, I think it's on TV, try it, you may like it. Give it a chance. Give yourself a chance to think about it. Next time you go and react different, think about it. Say, God, I just do it automatically, so forgive me. The next time you will have less time or less persuading to go the wrong way. Because you'll know when you're giving in to stuff. If we don't believe that we give in, just check yourself. Check things that you do. Look on TV and see, oh, I don't know why that black man or that black woman wore that dress looking like that. What did the white woman look with that same dress on? If it was all right for her, it's all right for you. The color, whatever that makeup she got. If the other woman's got it, it's all right for you. Don't make people stand out. Just think it's all right because God made us all. There ain't no difference. You can wear and do whatever anybody else does. As long as it's not things against the will of God. If it's not sin, there ain't nothing wrong with it. We can't judge stuff just for color. Think about the stuff we do. We wonder why that we don't get no more respect in what we do. Because we don't love ourselves. And think about it. God made Abraham. He made a covenant with Abraham. He make a covenant with you. But you have to obey it in order to receive God's blessings. I thank God today. This is a new year. I don't want us to go out and make a lot of promises. But just do what you need to do. And follow yourself. Follow yourself with the Word of God. And things will be better on this year coming up. It ain't because you tell ourselves, I ain't going to do this year. Next year, this year I did this life. Don't worry about that. Just start doing what you need to do. And that is respecting God as being first in your life. Don't make nothing else first. Make a covenant with him. And promise him that I want to be obedient to him. And let him be first. Is there anyone that would like to say anything this morning? Some of it, if what I'm saying you don't believe it, you want to talk about it, you want to call me or whatever, do it. Because we got to break through this. We got to shout. We got to shout. And start out the right way. I thank the Lord that if anyone would like to come down and come into the church, they can. If not, we'll come back.